Today I'm reviewing a 2023 Toyota Sequoia Capstone, which is the all-new third generation model of the Sequoia after a 15-year model year run of the outgoing second generation model of the Sequoia. This new model is built on the same platform as the all-new Toyota Tundra, the Lexus LX 600, and the Toyota Land Cruiser, which is sold globally but no longer available here in the United States. The Sequoia is available in 5 different trim configurations, starting off with the base SR5 model, then you've got the Limited model, the Platinum model, and the TRD Pro and Capstone models. The base SR5 model starts at around $60,000, and as you get up to the TRD Pro and the Capstone models, you're looking at closer to $80,000. This Capstone model has a few added features, bumping the sticker price to $80,481. The Sequoia is a really great looking vehicle. I think it offers a really nice balance between being kind of elegant and premium and athletic, but also very kind of rugged and muscular looking. It's also less polarizing than the Tundra. I think that's due largely to this front fascia, which is definitely kind of in your face on the Tundra. I was a bit skeptical when it first came out, and I think that with the Sequoia, when this came out, it was really a lot more what we expected with the Tundra. Now, it's funny because even though the Tundra is polarizing, now that I've spent a lot of time with a Tundra and have seen a lot of them, in some ways I almost like the look of the front fascia on the Tundra more, but this is, again, definitely much less polarizing and a really nice looking overall front fascia. And I wouldn't be surprised if over time the Tundra starts to kind of morph to look a little bit more like this. Now, with this being the Capstone model, this grille is all chrome. And then we also get the premium LED headlights, get the sequential blinkers, and then down below, this piece here is also got that chrome look. And we've got our built-in fog lights. We've also got parking sensors built into that front bumper. On the side profile, Sequoia has got a really nice look. It's got some really nice athletic lines and just a really good looking overall profile. With this being the Capstone model, we get the 22-inch wheels in chrome. And we also get this chrome accent below the doors with the Capstone lettering. We get chrome door handles, chrome trim along the windows, and a chrome mirror with an integrated blinker. Chrome side rails up top. And then coming around to the back, I think this is a really nice design on the rear end of the Sequoia. Very sporty, premium look. Unfortunately, we do lose the iconic roll-down rear window, so that's definitely a major disappointment for many of the Toyota enthusiasts. But beyond that loss, I think that this rear end does have a really nice look with this taillight design, the Sequoia lettering along the bottom of the hatch. Again, you'll see we've got some of those parking sensors on this rear bumper, and this lower piece has that chrome appearance on the Capstone model. Got a built-in light here to illuminate the ground, and we've got a camera, part of the 360-degree camera system. On the Capstone model, we also get the automatic drop-down running boards that deploy when the doors are open and then go back up when the doors are closed. With that 360 camera system, you'll see we've also got a camera integrated in each side mirror, as well as below the Toyota emblem. And then the Sequoia comes standard with the iForce Max hybrid powertrain, so we also get this little emblem on the hood. Overall, a really great looking SUV. The Sequoia shares its powertrain with the all-new Tundra, and while the Tundra is offered with either a standard gas engine or a hybrid engine, you only get the hybrid powertrain on the Sequoia. It's a 3.4-liter twin-turbo, 6-cylinder, again with that hybrid battery pack, paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. That'll give you a 0-60 time of about 6 seconds and max tow capacity of about 9,520 pounds. Fuel efficiency is decent for a vehicle of this size when you look at the EPA numbers. It's rated at 19 miles per gallon in the city and 22 miles per gallon on the highway. In four-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive models are going to see that increase slightly to 21 in the city and 24 on the highway. Now, one thing I will mention is that Toyota really focused more on giving the hybrid engine more horsepower and more torque rather than fuel efficiency. And that's evident when you look at the Tundra. The standard gas engine has lower performance numbers, but the fuel efficiency is only 2 miles per gallon lower for city driving, and it's the same for highway driving. So don't expect to see amazing fuel efficiency with the Sequoia. Again, that trade-off is that you're getting a lot more horsepower and torque. And the other thing that's worth noting is that at least in the case of my Tundra, real-world fuel efficiency was quite a bit lower than those EPA numbers. I'm curious to see how it compares on the hybrid iForce Max powertrain. I'll certainly let you guys know once I've had a chance to spend some time with the Sequoia what those real-world fuel efficiency numbers look like. The interior of the Sequoia feels very familiar after spending a year with my Tundra. They're virtually identical in terms of the look and layout. Only real difference being that my Tundra was the Limited and this is the higher end Capstone model. And so you get upgraded seats, number of upgraded materials and accents throughout that give it that more premium flair than what you're going to see in the lower and Limited model. Seats are very comfortable. I really like the look. I think that the white accents are pretty cool, although I worry a little bit about whether these are going to stay clean long term or start to really show their age. Likewise, I really worry about these armrests here in the middle as well as on the sides. Again, the white accents look really cool right now, but not so sure if that's a great idea long term, depending on how you're using the vehicle. We also get these walnut wood grain accents on the dashboard, center console, doors, a little bit more right here. And so definitely gives the vehicle a very premium flair. And then we also get a number of stitched leather accents throughout the interior as well that give it that more premium vibe. Of course, we get the panoramic sunroof up above, which brings in a lot of nice natural light. And then the vehicle is just loaded with luxury and tech features. In addition to the premium JBL audio system, we also get these metal speaker grills that give the vehicle a nice premium feel. We've got memory settings for 2 drivers, power windows, door locks, and mirrors. Driver and front passenger seat are also full power with lumbar support. To the left of the steering column here, got a number of controls for cabin lights, for the automatic running boards, high beams, access for our fuel door, instrument cluster lighting, odometer trip adjustment. We can turn off our automatic braking, heated steering wheel, and we've got a button here to activate the 120 volt outlets. You'll see that our steering wheel is leather stitched and perforated, and it's got a number of controls for our audio and vehicle settings on this side. On this side, some of our safety features, as well as our cruise control. And then the Capstone also has the digital instrument cluster here. Nice large infotainment screen here in the middle. This is going to be similar to the Tundra and other Sequoia models. Unfortunately, this is one thing that I think is a real weak point on both the Tundra and the Sequoia, just in terms of the functionality and the layout. You've got this massive screen. It's not very user-friendly, and it's hard to really display much information at one time. So for example, if we go to like audio, that's all that you're seeing is audio. You can go to your Bluetooth or to your vehicle settings, but there's not a way to see multiple bits of information on this screen at one time. So definitely a real downside. Climate control is really intuitive and easy to use. It's got a nice look to it as well. You can sync with the rear seat if you want, or control that independently from the rear. We've got our trailer tow mode. We've also got the panoramic view monitor. So if I turn the vehicle on and we push that, it's going to give us a 360-degree view of the vehicle, let you know if you've got any kids or bikes or something else that might be an obstacle in the way. You can also push this button right here to bring it down to that ground level. We put the vehicle in drive and push that again. It's going to take us to our front view camera, and we've got the 360-degree aerial view. We can also toggle through some other views, so we can go to our rear view, side mirrors, looking forward or backward. And so a nice camera view set up here to give you some of that additional functionality. We can also push on these arrows here to kind of toggle that camera to look out to the side or bring it back to the vehicle. So that's a real nice handy feature. We can also turn off our traction control. This is our hazard lights, electronic parking brake, and it's got a brake hold. So if you're sitting at like a stoplight and that's activated, you can take your foot off the brake and the vehicle's not going to go anywhere. We got our push button start and trailer brake controller here, gear shifter. It's also got wireless charging for your cell phone. So if your cell phone is positioned right there and is capable of wireless charging, it will do that. We've got our electronic four-wheel drive button here. So you got 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. Unfortunately, no auto mode available. And then you can toggle through a number of drive modes. If you're on that setting there and you scroll that little rotary knob, you've got eco, normal, and sport. So you can just scroll like that. And then we've also got, again, our tow haul mode. And we can tow or tow plus toggle with that rotary knob again. If we push on this little hatch here, we've got 2 cup holders concealed down below that. We've also got a little compartment on the top here, 2 cup holders for the rear passengers, and we've got a knob on either side here that opens up to give us access to our center console. We've got our USB and USB-C, coin storage, plenty of storage space in there. With this closed, we can also slide this open to get access without your passenger having to raise up their arm or your driver. So that's kind of a nice feature. We've got a auto dimming mirror with the ability to program up to 3 garage door openers. We've also got a built-in camera, compartment for sunglasses. We can open up our hatch with this button here. This right here is a screen for a panoramic sunroof. So if you've got too much sun coming in, you can close that and completely black things out. I prefer to keep that open. And then it's also an operational glass panel. So this front panel will open up, get you some air coming into the vehicle. We've also got this little mood button here, which it's not nighttime, so we can't really play with that too much and show you what that looks like, but there's ambient lighting throughout the cabin that gives the vehicle a pretty cool vibe. So I'll try to throw in a clip and show you what that looks like as well. The center row of the Capstone has these nice captain's chairs, and we've got a lever right here that you can pull to easily pull the seat up and get you access to the third row. Unfortunately, these seats do not slide forward and backward here to give you additional legroom in the rear, but you do have a lot of legroom in this center row. I'm 5'10", and you can see I've got plenty of legroom space here. Very comfortable seats. We've got the built-in armrest here as well. A lot of nice ambiance with the panoramic sunroof up there. We've got all of our climate control down here for the rear of the vehicle, so that's controlled independently from the front. Of course, you can override that and control it in the front if you want to as well. And then both of these captain's chairs are also heated and ventilated, and we've got the controls down there for both of these. We've also got some USB and USB-C outlets, and we've got a 120 volt power outlet down here as well. We've got the built-in sunscreens you can use here in the rear, so that's a really nice handy feature. And then we've got some nice storage space built into the door and a little center console here in the middle. The third row seat's not terrible, but it's probably not somewhere you're going to want to spend too much time if you're a full-grown adult. You'll see that my headroom is very limited here. The seats are flattened here to give you more of that headroom, and so as a result, there's not really any thigh support. But I've got, a good amount of legroom here between me and this center row seat. Now, that is a little bit of a mixed bag because it depends on whether you need legroom in this rear seat or cargo space in the back, because these seats do slide forward and backward. And if we've got them slid all the way forward, then my knees are jamming into this center row seat. So if you had a full vehicle of 6 or 7 people and cargo, you're probably gonna need like a box on top of the vehicle or something to make that work, because there's definitely not gonna be space in the back and enough legroom to go on those trips. But if it's an occasional trip with passengers and no cargo, it's probably gonna work all right. In this third row seat, we do have some little storage compartments. We've got cup holders, and we also get the little sunscreens for these rear windows. So nice little touch. And then we've got some vents to get heat and air to the rear seat as well. Now, as I already mentioned, we unfortunately lose the iconic roll down rear window here at the back, but we do still have some of the same functionality. You can push this button right here and open up this glass to have access to cargo in the back without opening the whole hatch. So you get some of that functionality, but it's probably not something you're going to want to leave open when the vehicle is operating. So you're losing some of that functionality, certainly the cool factor, and your furry friends are going to be disappointed as well. Now with this closed, we've got a button here or a lever that we can pull to electronically open the hatch. We also have a little sensor down below here, so if the key is in your pocket, I can just stick my foot down underneath. That way if you've got a bunch of groceries or something, this rear hatch will open up electronically. And then as I mentioned, unfortunately, on the 3rd generation Sequoia, they made a decision to go away from the fully independent rear suspension that you had on the 2nd generation model and that you see from most of the other competition in the segment, to a solid rear axle. Now, it was probably to save cost. The unfortunate thing about that is that you lose a lot of cargo space back here, and it also takes away from this rear 3rd row seat. As you can see, the floor is kind of raised up here, so that axle is kind of pushing up into the cabin area. The impact is that you lose 1.6 inches of legroom when compared with that 2nd generation Sequoia. Technically, it's actually the same in terms of headroom with that outgoing model, but instead the seats are kind of adjusted and made more flat to give you that headroom, so you kind of end up with a less comfortable seat. And then cargo space sees a very significant decrease from 120 cubic feet in the 2nd generation model to only 87 cubic feet on this model, which is only 3 cubic feet more than what you're going to see in the Highlander. So that's definitely a bit disappointing for a full-size SUV like this. All that to say, there's still, a decent amount of cargo space back here. I mentioned when I was sitting in that 3rd row that you can slide these seats forward and backwards. So this is the maximum cargo space here. If we pull on this lever and bring that back all the way on both sides, it gives you more of that legroom up there in that 3rd row, but then it really diminishes this cargo space in the back. So definitely kind of a downside. Now these rear seats do electronically fold down. We've got buttons on the side here that we can push to drop both of those down. Again, because of that solid rear axle though, these are not going to fold down into the floor like you would have seen in the prior generation. Instead, they're kind of raised up, and then again, this is kind of raised up. So not having the flat floor back here, to me, is definitely a major disappointment. We do have this little shelf right here that you can move and adjust, put on these different levels. So I guess gives you a little bit of functionality, although it's kind of a funky system with these little flaps that hang out on the side there. So I'm not too crazy about that. We do have some nice little built-in storage compartments right here, so you can kind of separate things. And we've got this net that you can install as well to keep things from falling out. So definitely kind of a disappointment in terms of all of that cargo space, but just kind of depends on your needs. Again, these electronically lift back up. And then to close the rear cargo area, we do have a button up above here that you can drop this down, or again, if you've got a bunch of cargo, you stick your leg under the vehicle and that will electronically close. Just as the interior on the Sequoia is very familiar, having owned the 2022 Tundra, likewise the ride quality is very similar. Feel right at home. It is slightly different given that this is an SUV and that was a truck, and with the Tundra it's a little bit lighter weight in the back. This has a little bit better weight distribution, and as a result the handling is improved. But again, very familiar given that experience with the Tundra. Now, despite the Sequoia being a hybrid, it is very powerful and it sounds really good. Now, of course, that sound that you just heard was artificial because it's piped in through the JBL audio system. Some would say that's corny. I personally like it. I had the same feature on my Tundra, and I think it's cool. It just makes the vehicle sound very muscular, very powerful, which it is. It's just that the noise that it's making along with that is fake. I do think it'd be a good idea if they had a toggle so that you could turn that volume up and down, because there are times when maybe it'd be nice if it wasn't so loud, and there's probably certain buyers that wouldn't appreciate it as much as me, but I like it. One thing that you do get on the Capstone Sequoia that I didn't mention going over features is it's got the heads-up display. And so right in front of me on the dashboard here, there's a little cutout, and it's actually projecting an image that looks like it's out in front of the vehicle on the road. It's got a compass letting you know what direction you're headed, lets you know what the current speed limit is, how fast you're driving, and then it's also got an eco display to let you know where you're at in terms of fuel efficiency. Overall, the Sequoia is a really nice vehicle to drive, given its large mass and its capability in terms of performance and towing and seating capacity. I think that it strikes a really nice balance in being able to offer a lot of that practicality, but also being a really nice vehicle to drive. It's very smooth, it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's got a very composed ride, nice steering feel. And it's pretty easy to drive despite its large size. It's got good visibility. We've got all the cameras to give us views and angles we might not otherwise be able to see. And then of course, plenty of luxury and tech features to make the drive very enjoyable. So there you have it. That's a look at the all-new 2023 Toyota Sequoia in the top-end Capstone trim configuration. This vehicle is absolutely gorgeous inside and out and a pleasure to drive. I love the exterior style being very modern and upscale, but also having kind of an athletic and rugged stance to it. Inside, it's got a great interior design that's both attractive, but also very functional, and it's loaded with luxury and tech features. Not so sure about the white interior. That's definitely kind of a red flag for me, but otherwise, it's got a great interior design. Of course, the powertrain is also awesome on this vehicle. It's got a ton of horsepower, ton of torque. Fuel efficiency is decent given what those performance numbers look like, although the trip computer is currently reading about 15.6 miles per gallon. So as I suspected, maybe less than those EPA numbers. More to come on that in the near future. But overall, a great vehicle to drive. It's very powerful, it's smooth, quiet, comfortable. And I'd say that the only other thing I'm not real crazy about on this vehicle is that price tag of just over $80,000. That's definitely a tough one to swallow, but price aside, very impressed with the all-new third generation Sequoia. If you have any comments or questions, leave those in the comment section below. And for more videos of the all-new Sequoia, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.